Hello, my name is Rory Green. I'm a student at the University of Bristol, and the piece of music I want to discuss is from the Halo 3 soundtrack written by Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore. Now, the piece itself doesn't actually have a name, and I'll explain why that is in just a second, but in the community it's known as Warthog Run. Now, why is this piece so important to me? Well, it was the first piece of music that showed me how classical and orchestral pieces can be used to enhance other types of media, and it really just made me appreciate the whole genre as a whole. Before I played games like Halo 3, my introduction to classical music had been through school. And while it's quite nice listening to something like Vivaldi, when you're younger, I feel like it's quite hard to connect with. Fast forward a few years to when I was a bit older and I was playing these games, I was really engaged in a story that was taking me across the galaxy, fighting aliens, and I loved that when I was younger, and I still do now. But I came to realize a large part of what made the story so great was the music. And the way music works in games like Halo 3, it's not exactly like a film where you have a set song for a set scene. You have you tend to have lots of smaller pieces of music that can then be put together to create bigger pieces depending on the situation. Now, this helps the ebb and flow of the battle or create ambience in a temple, and is why Warthog Run doesn't have a name. In fact, it's actually made up of two songs called One Final Effort and The Greatest Journey. But why is Warthog Run my favourite piece on the soundtrack? Well, it's right at the climax of the game, right as you're driving through an alien facility that's exploding around you, and it starts off quite simple with just tribal drums, but it slowly and slowly builds up, adding vocals, strings, and eventually a piano. And then just as you escape, it all cuts to quiet, and it was just such an impactful ending, such an impactful way to end 8 hours of story, and I just loved it. And after I finished it, I kind of took a step back and realized what it had done, and I started seeing it more in films, theatre, TV, and it just made me appreciate everything so much more and what music can do to bring out the best in just about every piece of media.